Hello everybody and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again, and I hope you're all having a very good weekend so far. And today, got a bit of a video for all of you. This is a game that I've been playing recently called Escape from Tarkov. And I'm gonna do a bit of a review on it now that I've had a little bit more playing time in the game. So what is Escape from Tarkov? Well, it is best way I can put it is it's kind of a more realistic version of what maybe PUBG would be. It's a loot-based shooter type of game. And when a friend of mine first recommended this game, I wasn't really all that interested. To me, it sounded like a more realistic version of PUBG. And you know, all the videos I've watched of PUBG, I always thought, wow, this game just not really my thing. I know it's still a good game. I know a lot of people enjoy it and play it and everything, but just it wasn't my kind of game. So I said, nah, no thanks. I'm not going to be spending money on a game, especially because, if you really want to have, let's say the largest inventory and all that stuff, you've got to pay for the top tier package, which is about $140 Canadian, which is quite a lot of money. And, there is a standard edition that is cheaper. I think the standard edition is like $44 Canadian. It'll be cheaper if it's US dollars, obviously. But to me, it wasn't something that I was willing to spend money on. Well, anyways, a friend of mine was insistent that I should try it, so he ended up actually forking out the money and buying me the game. So first things first, big thank you to E-Taze for this game. And I've played with him for a bit now in this game, and I think I can give you guys a pretty good sort of review on what to expect. So if I were to use sort of one word to describe Escape from Tarkov, I would use the word unforgiving. This is a game that is hard, and it is not forgiving towards new players. In fact, even though I've already played for a while, I'm still a rookie in this game. I will still die to things, and I will still get killed by things. But, of course, overall, successes have outweighed failures. But this is a game that I think will get closest to if I were to take you right now and say, here's a gun, and I throw you into, a hostile survival situation, right? Like, let's say the society is collapsed, there are armed guys roaming around, you have to get stuff to survive, and so on and so forth. If that was sort of a situation you were thrown in, and you have no training, no idea what you're doing, you would probably go out there and be absolutely terrified. And that's a feeling you will have replicated in Escape from Tarkov when you first start. It is terrifying. You will go onto a map, and you will not know the lay of the land. You will not know where things are. You don't know where the AI scav will be spawning. You don't know where the player-controlled scavengers are spawning. You don't know where the other player-controlled PMCs are going to be. And, in this sort of initial confusion, and by the way, this confusion can last for a bit. Watching guides will help, but you really have to, slowly play your way through this game and learn where everything is. But let's say, you start off, you don't know where things are, and suddenly you hear gunfire exploding around you. Your reaction is that of fear. There is legitimate fear because you don't know how to deal with that initially, right? Now, as you play more, right, and especially if you watch videos by experienced Tarkov players, you'll see them react, and the reactions are fast, they're well rehearsed almost, right? And you can almost compare that to grizzled veterans, if that's a way to put it. People who have been in conflict for a while, who learn how to survive. And so as you go through it, you will learn and you will get better. But that initial bit is really something. That is one hell of an experience, to say the least. The best way to describe it was one time where all we were doing was just waiting for a large roaming group of players. It was a group, I think it was 4 or 5, to just pass us, right? We didn't want to fight them because there was only 2 of us at the time. We didn't want to fight them. So we were hiding in a room with the door closed. And during that period of time, where really nothing's happening when you really think about it, because we were just hiding in a room with the door closed. There was some real tension there. There was real fear that somebody was just gonna burst through the door and there'd be a firefighter in your hands immediately. And that level of tension I haven't felt since my old FPS days, you know, with days where I used to play shooters where it was like, okay, suddenly you're on a 5 versus 1, a clutch situation, and it's all on you. You know, except that, you know, for a lot of those shooter games, it lasts only a short period of time. It's like maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, a couple minutes, right? But in Tarkov, that feeling of tension can go on for a large part of the raid that you're in. So if you're in a raid for, let's say, 30 minutes, you could easily spend 10 minutes of that just incredibly, incredibly tense. Now, as you play more of Tarkov and you get more experience, you will start to, of course, become better at the game. You will start to be more efficient when you fight. You will start to know how to do certain things better. You will know how to work better with your teammates because you'll know where things are on the map. You know what kind of callouts to use so that, you know, you don't have friendly fire incidents. By the way, fratricide happens in this game. There's definitely times where you don't know where your friend is and you make a mistake and they don't tell you, or you don't really know where they are, and you end up killing them, right? At the beginning, when I first started, I don't know how many times I killed a friend of mine when we were playing together. I just did not know where he was, and I couldn't tell him where I was because I was like, I'm somewhere in a bush somewhere, and it made things very challenging. As you get better, as you start to play the game more, you will start to know where things are. You will start to be able to coordinate better, and eventually you'll see it where it's like, if you get into a fight, one person might go one way, another guy might go on a flank, and you start to actually conduct maneuvers. And that is just really, really cool. But I'm not really there yet. I'm still in the stage of really sort of getting better at the game, right? I'm still kind of new to it. And there are times where you are absolutely paralyzed. You just don't know what's the right thing to do. And remember, the penalties for dying in this game are real. It's like if you went in and you either looted a lot of gear, like I have in this particular game, or in another game where you actually brought in gear, it's like you die and you lose it. The stuff you brought in, you will lose. Now, in the game, there is a form of what they call insurance, but the insurance works like this. It's like, if you die and nobody else takes your stuff, then yes, you will get it back in X amount of hours. But if, you know, somebody else actually takes your stuff and runs out with it, you don't get it back, right? So it's kind of interesting that kind of way. You know, the cost of dying is quite real. Anyways, by the way, I did mention small mistakes in this game, right, are unforgiving. You make a small mistake, it will kill you. Watch this. I've gotten my stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna head towards a place I can get out and I can extract with all these weapons and get out with it. And right here, I didn't pay attention that there was a guy in the bush. There's a guy right there. See it? Where the flash of the gun was? Dead. That's the end of the run. Everything I collected in that game didn't come out with me. And like I said, unforgiving, right? You make mistakes, you get a little hasty, you do something that it wasn't the right thing to do, and you pay the price. You die and you lose the stuff. So, going on, I guess I have to explain a little bit about how the characters work. You have a main character, which is your PMC, right? Your main character is the one that you can equip with stuff ahead of time. You can put on armor, you can put on a large backpack, you can modify your guns, you can bring extra ammo, whatever. This is the one that the stuff that you're able to keep in your inventory, you're able to equip your character with. The scavengers, the human-controlled scavengers, you basically spawn with random stuff. You can spawn with random guns, random backpack, sometimes no backpack, sometimes with medical supplies, sometimes without medical supplies. So there's a challenge to playing scavengers, but of course if you die, no real loss, right? Because you went in with nothing, and let's say you came out with nothing, oh well, no big deal. But PMCs, if you die, you could lose everything. Right? Now, I did mention that there is insurance, that, you know, there is ways to get some stuff back if you get lucky and somebody else doesn't take it, or if you have a friend who just picks up your stuff and dumps it in a bush or something. So Yeah, that is possible. But as a PMC, there is that real analysis of risk and reward. If you start to hear gunfire pop up, do you run into that engagement and fight it out with the other guys there? Maybe you kill them and you collect all their gear. Or what if you run in there and you're outnumbered and you end up dying and losing everything? Always that risk assessment. Again, very sort of real, right? In real life, you have to make that decision if you're in this kind of scenario. Would you want to go in there, potentially risking your life to collect new stuff? Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. It becomes one of those things you have to actually think about. And there is a lot of decision making to be made because, hell, imagine a situation like this. You're new, you know, you're comfortable only maybe taking out a pistol because you really, like, even if you take out your good guns, if you don't know what you're doing with them, you don't know the map, you don't know things, your chance of dying is sky high. And like I said, you will lose them. So maybe let's say you only take a pistol out, and all of a sudden you hear fully automatic suppressed gunfire. Are you really going to run towards that? Maybe not. Maybe the smarter thing to do is to just hold back, wait for them to pass, and then go up behind them and pick up what's been left over. Hell, maybe one of the guys died. Maybe they left good loot. Sometimes in this game, I've gone whole raids, whole 40-minute raids, where maybe I've killed 1 or 2 AIs, and I haven't seen a single player. But I came out with a ton of goods. Right? And other times, I fight my way through, kill a couple people, kill a bunch of scavs, and fight my way through, and then of course, you know, come out with good gear. But then there are times, like this game, where I did pretty good. You know, was able to kill a bunch of scavs, and at the end, you know, one bad engagement, and you don't come out with anything, right? And in fact, you lose stuff. So that is some of these things that you have to decide. Anyways, a few other things to talk about. In terms of graphics, I would have to say the game is quite visually beautiful. There's no complaints from me in terms of eye candy. It's like if you're in the forest or you're in, you know, a place where there's a lot of trees and grass or whatever, it looks good. Right? So visually, no complaints from me. Weapons, authentic. I have to say that. The weapons, they handle quite realistically. They are incredibly moddable as well. There's a lot of different options for modding, different sights, different you know, sort of magazines, you know, various lasers and rails and stocks and bolts and everything you can pretty much think about modding in a video game for a gun is there. And I think that's pretty much all I'm going to say regarding, I guess, the gameplay and things like that. Now there's sort of one other opinion I've got to give, which is, would I recommend this game to people? Oh, and that is a very hard question. Is it a good game? Absolutely. I think it's a fantastic game. But is it for everybody? And I think the answer to that one is no. I don't think this is a game that everybody's going to enjoy playing. If you're somebody who will get, let's say, potentially easily frustrated, somebody who will get really angry, upset that maybe you've lost gear, then might not be the best kind of game for you, because you will have moments where you will experience that level of frustration, of anger, you know, want to throw your keyboard at your monitor kind of thing. There are moments where you play with others where, you know, maybe miscommunication leads you to either killing them or them killing you, and those are things that if you're not good at handling that kind of feelings, probably not your thing. But if it's a game that you're looking for that is hard, is challenging, is difficult, and is going to put you under that feeling of tension, of fear, of stress in a video game, again, not in a horror game way, but in a sense it's like there are real people in this game who are looking to hunt me down. Like that is a feeling that, like I said, I haven't experienced being replicated in pretty much any other game I've played. And I've said the closest I've gotten to that feeling is clutch moments in FPS shooters. Right? If I was in Counter-Strike or I was playing those old sort of shooter games, pick one, I don't know, where it's like a clutch situation and it's all up to you. That short burst of tension, except way more extended in duration would be what Tarkov is, right? And if that's the kind of experience you're looking for, then I would say go for it. Get this game. It will be one hell of an experience.
I've been hearing that constantly throughout the game.
And my final sort of little thing to leave those of you who have decided to maybe get this game is, you know, what little bit of advice can I give you? Especially for those of you who are starting out, who are like, but I really don't want to lose gear. I don't really want to lose guns. How do I overcome that feeling, right? And you might hear other people just say, oh, just take your guns out and go run with it. And let's say you do that, and then you just run out and you die and you lose your stuff. That is going to become very aggravating very, very quickly, right?
Sounds like that.
For me,
AI,
the one thing that's made me really sort of get over that fear of losing gear is actually having too much stuff. When your inventory gets to the point where it's so full that you just don't have space anymore to keep stuff out of your raids, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start using this stuff because I just cannot have this stuff stay in my inventory. And it's not actually that difficult to reach that stage, right? Because what you can do is you can play as a scavenger. Remember, scavengers, you get randomly spawned weapons, and if you kill some guys and you extract with their stuff, fantastic, that stuff you can use for your main character. Do keep in mind though, if you're a scavenger and you go hostile on the AI scavengers, other AI scavengers will go hostile on you, right? And by the way, look at this. Make a mistake, bam, instantaneously dead. The game is unforgiving, right? I should have actually flanked around instead. Anyways, and the other way, of course, is to start off by taking either just pistols or just a hatchet, right? And using stealth to get behind scavengers, kill them, take their stuff, kill other scavengers, take their stuff, and then get out, right? And eventually what you do is you build up a ton of stuff in your inventory. And your inventory gets to be so full, which for me it's the case now, where all these weapons that I've collected are essentially throwaway weapons. These are weapons that I can lose and I won't feel a thing about them, right? And so if you want to really get over that fear of using your weapons, just collect a bunch, and eventually the lack of inventory space is going to drive you to use it. Anyways, folks, that's my review for Escape from Tarkov. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to all of you again next time.